Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another round of Super Rugby Pacific, and it is the culture round for this matchup. And what a great match to start us off. Moana Pasifika versus the Highlanders. Two sides that want to continue building up the table. Of course, one of them getting a massive upset win last week over the Blues, that being the Highlanders, which sticks them now in 5th place. Tell you what, the defending champs, they are not going to stay in 11th for long. So anyone who wanted to see the Blues downfall, you'll have to make the most of it now because they will continue to climb as this competition does go on. Moana Pasifika, just a 1 point so far. One of these two sides is going to be sitting quite nicely at the end of this round. Looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, for Moana Pasifika, of course, a man that the side, some say, is now built around, and that is Ardie Savia. In that number 8 jersey, Alan Craig alongside Tom Savage in the locking duo. They were extremely strong for Moana Pasifika last year. And I don't see this match being any different. Also in their backline, they have got Jonathan Tamatino partnered with Jackson Garden Bishop. So a couple men who have played for the Hurricanes in the past, now getting the chance for Moana Pasifika together. Danny Tuala and Pinisana Patafilo in the midfield. So actually a lot of guys who have had a bit of time for the Canes. Tima Falau, he was sensational last week. He's leading in some sort of fantasy points, I believe. And then Will Havili and Solomon Alaimalo out on the other wing. Looking at the Highlanders and their starting lineup, Sawane Vakina in that number 2 jersey, alongside Kautai and Bartlett as the front row. Falau Fakatava comes back in as that number 9, starting alongside Tane Robinson, and the man who's been talked about the most out of anyone, I would say, almost after that last round, that is Timothy Tavatanawai. He's going to be in that number 12 jersey today. Him and Savia, they could have a really good battle in terms of who can get the most turnovers for their side in this match, but definitely one of the main reasons that we did see the win for the Highlanders last week. That partnered, of course, with the sensational performance from Finn Hurley at number 15. But looking through at the chat, we have got there, how you going, bro? Hope you had a good week, says Matthew. It's gone very fast. It just feels like only a couple of days ago that we're finishing off the Sevens commentary, and now we are straight back in for another weekend, another great weekend of rugby, says Matthew. Come on, lad, says PSG. What's your opinion on moving the women to the Aussie comp? Says Kiwi Rob. I haven't really seen a huge amount of the Super Rugby Aupiki at this point, but I know that they have talked about having a Trans-Tasman type of competition for the women as well, a little bit similar to Super Rugby. So, I mean, if it means that they get more games and the women's game gets to continue to grow, I don't see why it wouldn't be a positive. Plus, you get a bit of that Trans-Tasman rivalry going on too. Greetings, Hamish, says Daniel Easty. Welcome in, mate. If you have been keeping well too. And hey, everyone, says Jude, and kia ora, everyone, says Matthew, and Highlanders 1H. 1H. Highlanders 1H. I don't know what 1H means, I'll be honest with you. This week has gone fast. And we are the Highlanders, says PSG. And hi, Judah, says Matthew. But both sides have made their way out onto the field now. I believe looking at the direction of the sun, one team is going to be looking straight into it for the first half, and then more than likely it will get dark enough that they don't have to worry about it. What we up to, man? Says Daniel Easty. First game of Super Rugby round, of course. Cricket tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be playing. I'll be back for my first game in about 3 or 4 weeks, I think it will be. So there will definitely be fitness problems, I would think. Just a presentation between both sides, exchanging gifts. We are just about to get underway for this contest. Just quickly mentioning about the benches for this contest, ladies and gents. For Moana Pasifika, they have got Sama Malolo, Tui Pelotu, and Chris Apua as the front row replacements. Samuel Slade is there. And also, in terms of those backs, I mean, you've got Matavao, can be a real X-factor when needed, and Pellegrini in that number 22 jersey. For the Highlanders, they've got Ethan de Groot off the bench rather than being in the starting side, which of course has given the youngster Bartlett a bit of a crack here. Cam Miller in that number 22 jersey. And then TK Howden as the 20 there too. A bit of rust, you reckon? I'd say so. I haven't even had like a bat in the net since last month, I think. And we are almost at the end of this one. We have got there, did you hear that Sky Sport New Zealand might lose the rights, the rugby next year to DAZN? Says Kiwi Rob. I did know that DAZN were trying to get into, I think it was rugby, and there was also another sport that they were slightly considering trying to buy the licensing for. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens because for so long, Sky has held the monopoly. But, you know, if DAZN got up, I think it's like $20 a month or so. Well, they made 2 ducks in the 2-day. I did actually see the result of that one. Was it a really unplayable pitch, or was it that their bowlers were going well? Because I saw that your spinner took about 14 wickets for the match, and there were a lot of ducks across the 2 innings, unfortunately, for both teams. But now, huckers have been done before the match. Or just about anyway. Moana Pasifika, they have still got theirs, and then we will be straight into this contest. Of course, this is going to be the first of 2 matches that are taking place for today. Billy was just way too good, says Daniel. So that was your spinner, wasn't it? Because I know that one of the other team's guys, he looked like he would have been a lot older, I assume, so might have had a bit of an advantage there. Savia, definitely a man who is right up there in a lot of people's eyes for loose forwards at the moment around the world. Has got a lot of potential for being able to help Moana Pasifika finish higher than they ever have before. Of course, with only 11 teams, it means only 3 miss out on those quarterfinals. Are you doing any of the Aupiki that starts tomorrow, Arvo? We are not. No, I'll be playing cricket tomorrow afternoon, but I am going to be doing the Blues versus Hurricanes game at 7:05. So that'll be the first game of the day. So we're also missing Chiefs versus Brumbies, which I know won't be very popular. As in, like, that I'm missing it, not the fact that that game is a massive one for those 2 sides. There's someone from the North Otago Hawk Cup team. Yeah, I think he was the one I was thinking of. Do let me know your score predictions for this game as well, ladies and gentlemen. Can the Highlanders make it back-to-back wins, or will we see Moana Pasifika picking up their first win of the season? Or perhaps we could even see these 2 sides have a draw, go to the first golden point of this season. Right, both sides fired up at North Harbour Stadium. This is going to be the new home of Moana Pasifika rather than Mount Smart Stadium like it was at times last year, although they did even play at Eden Park for 1 or 2 of their home games. Both sides laying down the challenge. I'm expecting a high-scoring one. To be honest, like, neither of these 2 sides know how to not score points. They certainly know how to concede them too, unfortunately, which is why this one is going to be extremely high scoring. Like I said, Ben O'Keefe, he is going to be in charge of this contest. Alex made his 2nd ever golden. Says Daniel. Yeah, I think he was caught and bowled, I think, was one of the ones that he had, if I'm right. It'll be a close game. I hope Moana Pasifika by 15, says Matthew. Is that a close game, though, if one side wins by 15 points? To be fair, like some of the scorelines last week for Super Rugby, we had close matches and then they ended up having about 80 points scored throughout them. I mean, look at that Western Force Brumbies game, 45 points to 42. It is always a close game when we don't cover them on the channel, it would seem. The Highlanders getting the 8-point win, and then Moana Pasifika conceding 56, the most of any side throughout the round. But they actually scored about the 4th most points out of any team, or 5th most, in fact, for the round. But nicely taken by the Highlanders inside of their 22. And we are now underway for round number 3 of Super Rugby Pacific. Is this referee the one who did the World Cup final, says Quandile? It wouldn't have been, no, because Ben O'Keefe is from New Zealand. He would have done some of the playoff games of the Rugby World Cup, though, just not the final, seeing as they had the neutral referee. I think it was Wayne Barnes for the final, wasn't it? And Moana by 5, says FBI. Nothing wrong with the pitch, just no one could bat, says Daniel. Okay, well, at least that is room for improvement then, isn't it? Rather than an unplayable one. A nice pop pass up from Moana Pasifika under a little bit of early pressure here from the Landers. And this is a big one. Timothy Tavatavanawai, he is down and maybe got a little bit rocked while making that last tackle. This is going to be a big moment here. Because if Tavatavanawai is going to be going off for some sort of HIA, that'll be huge. And that's 2 straight games that the Landers have done the haka, says Levi. And I remember it was South Africa versus England in the semi-final, says Quandile. And also Highland Hamish, says Robert V. From memory, the South Africans don't mind Ben O'Keefe, do they? I think I've heard that he's one of the more popular international refs in from a South African perspective. Now, Timothy Tava Nawai. Looks like he is going to continue in this match. Nice hands. Gilbert goes on the outside. Chance here out wide. It was supposed to be Solomon Alai Marlow. Beautiful offload. And that will be the try early. 2 late changes in the lineup. I was about to say, I think that's Hasty. And it was supposed to be Fakatava. Solomon Alai Marlow. Oh no, sorry. Gilbert, I think, was supposed to be out on that wing. But a little switch there. It's the first try of the match for the Highlanders. When we were 14 for 7 in the first hour, we were all ready to give up. Says Daniel, well, I was going to come down and watch it. And then I saw how many wickets were falling, and I thought, I'm not going to make it in time. By the time I get there, they're going to be possibly bowled out for that second day anyway. But you guys still got the win. That's the main thing. Nice bit of work there from the late replacements, like they said. Sam Gilbert off the kicking tee, keeps it low, and does get it over. And that's going to make the score now 7-0. I thought Falau Fakatava wasn't going up to Auckland because he's injured. That is exactly right, yes. So it is instead the replacement for Fakatava who is able to score it. And it is Nathan Hasty. Now only 3 minutes in. Morning all, says Peter Wild, welcome in. And evening Kiwi lads, hi everyone, go Moana Pasifika here. And hi all, says Robert there too. Nicely taken, almost taken out in the air. The ball is going to be available now for the Highlanders. Tell me your overall thoughts on the Marvel superhero jerseys. I get why they're doing it. It's like the kids round and it's nice, but I'm glad that it's only a 1 round thing rather than the full season, because for one, like the Hurricanes, you wouldn't even know it was the Hurricanes from the colours that they've got. But like they'll probably sell a few and it will be a nice one for like the super, or not the superhero round, but the kids round of the comp. But yeah, I'm glad it's just a one-off. We are about to have a scrum feed here. Did you see the boys' high score card against our first? Did you see the boys' high score card? I did not, I don't think. Not that I know of. I think the only one I've seen for that was when they played Timaru for the second grade, which didn't look like it went the best. Now, scrum feed's going to go in for the Highlanders. Pack weight's 923 kgs compared to the 917 of Moana Pasifika. And this scrum has wheeled around to the side, but Hasty's going to go on the short side with a little boot in behind. Tuma Falau is back there. He's been quite an X-Factor player for Moana Pasifika. I should have gone with Wolverine for the Canes. You're at least something like slightly yellow, like even Iron Man, because who got Iron Man? I think Crusaders did. But if Crusaders had Captain America and then, you know, like that would have worked maybe a little bit better. But yeah, the Hurricanes, the only yellow on it is actually their Hurricanes logo. So yeah, I'm not sure what the choice was there. Now ready to go for the line out here. Highlanders just inside of the 22 and Sawane Vakina with the chance to throw it. And nicely claimed. Back across to the right-hand side. Caleb Tangi Tau, little pop pass up. Off to the right, Sean Whiffy. Tackled in the middle of the field. Tane Robinson, he's lurking in the pocket. They're going to go across to Tenuelu Talia. So Sam Gilbert's wearing 15 here, I do see. So I would assume that's for Finn Hurley, maybe, who is missing from this lineup. Another nice offload. Mofi Tava Nawai offloads up to Sawane Vakina, and there's going to be another offside advantage. Tava Nawai tries to pick and go. Shut down. Manages to get the offload away to Sawane Vakina. Another tackle on him by Tom Savage. And they'll go back. I feel like the Blues should have gone with Captain America, says Tane. Yeah, because who'd the Blues go with in the end? I know the Chiefs were Black Panther. Who'd the Blues have? The Hulk, was it? No, Hulk was Highlanders. Looks like they're going to take on the 3 points now here for the Highlanders rather than going for the 7. Okay, so they're just mentioning about Hasty here. There, he's got a bit of an ankle problem, or he's had one in the past anyway. Hopefully nothing too serious. Now that one's going to be going over from Sam Gilbert. Someone's yelling into the microphone by the sounds of it, but that's going to make the score 10-0 for the Highlanders. So a great start to this contest out. North Harbour Stadium. Is there no commentary, says Punisher? If we're talking about the actual commentary of the game, from the game, then no. Just us talking about the game, plus a little bit of play-by-play. Jackson Garden Bishop kicks this one off. Nicely taken by Hasty, who will now kick it high. Doesn't manage to find touch with it though, so Moana Pasifika able to run it back with Garden Bishop across to Alai Malo. Puts a lot of height on it. Looked like it was an awkward one to take, and it's going to be knocked on by the Highlanders, so advantage in favour of Moana Pasifika again. Tamatine goes across to Tom Savage. Now Havili tries the cross kick, going to be slapped back by Caleb Tangitau, knocked on by Tumafalau. They'll go right back to the scrum. We have the Good Lad. I was meaning on the actual game. Are there no commentators there? I think they've got, who is it? They've got James Parsons, Ricky Swinnell, and I'm not too sure who the third one is in their box. But yeah, they were very silent for a second, so I can understand why you were a bit confused. I felt like the Blues choked twice against the Chiefs and the Landers. Says Tane. Yeah, although that's the thing. The Blues, they will still finish at least top 8. You know, they might even be top 4 by the end of the season. They've had a couple rough performances, mainly disciplinary problems. Where's Savia, says Spider-Meek. Savia is packing at the back of the scrum this week. Looks like he's actually got the number 7 on his back here. So I think Moana Pasifika may have also had a late change. Originally he was going to be wearing the number 8 jersey for this contest. A big drive and run from Pipisana Patafilo. To the left-hand side, Tamatine. On to Tom Savage. Garden Bishop slipping through the hands of Danny Tawala. And it sounds like there is an offside advantage. Someone never getting back on side. Garden Bishop looking for that next pass. Shut down by Holland. To red. That'll be against Soani Vakina. Never found himself behind the hindmost foot. And now Moana Pasifika, they have an opportunity to either kick for the post for 3, or they can go aggressive and go for the 7. Garden Bishop's got his mouth guard out. No, he puts it back in. He will kick for the corner. Already 10 minutes into this contest and scoring at a point a minute for the away side. It's like a very good evening, North Harbour Stadium, although it does look like there's a lot of people with sun in their eyes on the far side. Ready for this line out. It's going to be Sanarevi. Ready to throw this ball in for Moana Pasifika. Oh no, they've messed that one up, although it's going to be a free kick for closing the gap, I believe. Oh no, receiver came in late, so I think that's actually the wrong number at line-out time. Viva Las Vegas this Sunday. Says Kiwi Rob. It'll be interesting to see how they go over there. I think there's currently the NRL 9s over in Las Vegas, weren't they? Oh, they're actually going to take the quick tap here. Jonathan Tamatine goes off to Sanarevi again, 10 metres out from the line. Nice tackle made by Lasanga. Savia gets that little bit closer here. Like I said, for Moana Pasifika, the last thing that they want is to be too far behind. They had that up against the Reds, and they never really made that ground back rolling ball close to the try line. 1 metre out, popped up. Who's it going to be? Looks like a big man. And I think it's Sione Mafaleo, is it? Who's popped up with that one? Yes, it is. Has he bulked up since the off-season? He is even more of a unit than I remember him being. But managing to bust his way through. Hey, I was watching some of the 9s earlier today. Here's Kiwi Rob. Are they getting decent crowds in the US for it? I know that the NRL matches normally get a little bit more than the 9s, but hopefully they're getting some sort of attention for those ones. Marvelli. This will be his first kick of the match, and Moana Pasifika are now right back into it. Be an important kick to line up here. Oh, he shanked it off the post. And that is going to make the score now 10 points to 5. Mafaleo, the first man on the board for Moana Pasifika. Just going to have a very quick look. For Mafaleo to score that last try at the time that he scored it, even just for him to score a try was huge in the odds of about 850. But for him to score that try when he did, he was paying $61. That just shows sometimes the props, they are underestimated, but they can be game changers when they do get it right. Are you much of a league fan? Not as much as I should be, if that makes sense. Like, we do a lot of union on the channel, which does normally overlap with the NRL when it starts back up, and it's very hard to balance them. But, like, I'll watch a game of rugby league if we aren't commentating a game of union, watch State of Origin every year, and the playoffs of the NRL. It's just a regular season I do struggle to get into just because of the overlaps. Now, nice pick and go from Fabian Holland, about 40 metres out from the line. Chance here for the Highlanders. Hasty back into the pocket. Goes to Tane Robinson. A morning, sir. Morning, rugby fans. How are we doing? Says Sebastian. Doing very well, mate. And nicely claimed by Tuma Falau. We'll come back in a second to the chat. Oh, that's a massive shot from Gilbert. It's forced to knock on. There's an advantage in favour of the Highlanders. But yeah, I hope you are enjoying the morning sip. Feels weird to say we've only got 5 live streams this weekend compared to the 29, I think it was, that we did last week. Oh, that might have been a late takeout. And it's gone into touch. We all go back for the original penalty. Jackson Garden Bishop hit late. And Catalina Dragons, excellent win. To be honest, I would love to see you do some of the league, so we don't have to listen to Aussie Bias commentary team. Says Kiwi Rob. See, we've done a bit of we have done State of Origin in the past. It was actually me and my dad doing a bit of the co-commentary, but yeah, it's been a little while since we've done an NRL stream. I think we did a bit of the Warriors pre-season last year, or maybe even the year before, yeah. So Wani Vakina coming through late, knocking Garden Bishop down. Now line out throw about 20 metres out from the line. Nicely taken for Moana Pasifika. Sanarevi looping around. Gives it off to Danny Tuala. What's up, whānau? Says Rock. Welcome in. Now Savia drives his legs. Sitting only 10 metres out from the line. Another pick and go. Well, this is getting even closer here. About 2 metres out. Diving out of the way was Lasunga, trying to keep himself on sidewise at 1 p.m. Sunday. Says Kiwi Rob. So is that when they're playing USA, or in the USA side of things? Oh, beautiful passing. Willie Harvilli manages to score it. And that's going to be the second try of the match for Moana Pasifika. Now they find themselves at 10 points to 10. And the last NRL stream I remember was on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. So Sebastian, yeah, that kind of became the backup just because of copyright side of things sometimes, or at least there was a patch when the NRL were pretty strict with it. Need Pacifica plus 12.5, says Bhavani. They're doing all right at the moment. Lots of changes to the Canes due to many players having a bad game last week, says Tane. And that's something that I think we're going to see quite a bit of throughout Super Rugby Pacific, as well as the fact that, I mean, there's just such a large injury list at the moment that you can't really afford to play the same guys week in, week out, or else you will end up with them eventually picking up the injury. Like, they have a section on the Super Rugby website. Oh, Harvilli has hit that one even worse than the last. Raiders versus the Wars, first game of the season of the NRL at 1 p.m. Says Kiwi Rob. Oh, okay, so it's not in the preseason side of things. Hurricanes will beat the Blues, says Bhavani. Yeah, just really nice finish from David Harvilli. Hamish, if you were the YouTuber, what games would you play? If I was the YouTuber, like a gaming YouTuber Rugby the Second, or what is the question? And Hurricanes will beat the Blues, says Bavani. Keep scoring Pasifika, says Matthew there as well. It's going to be a line-out throw now for the Highlanders. We're about 35 metres out from the line. I mean, gaming YouTuber. I mean, it's a tricky one. It probably would be sports-related gaming. Just because I've never been one who's been great at the online. Like, I've never been handy at Fortnite or COD or any of those ones. So it would be sports-related more than likely. So pretty similar to what we're doing now. We've started a Rugby 25 career mode, as you know. All right, ref needs give yellow cards to the Highlanders, says Bavani, and no conversion. Missed both of his attempts so far for William Harvili. Now, that's going to be another penalty. And it's going to be Artie Savia manages to get the Moana Pasifika possession. Hamish talks about the man's game, but then plays the girls' game, cricket. Says Peter Wild, I mean, cricket players do get paid hefty amounts, though, for playing, as you call it, a girls' game. Some of them get paid more in one season than a rugby player gets in their whole career. And they get less head knocks. What's to not like? And Jackson Garden-Bishop looks overweight. Says, wait, he's always been a chunkier guy in that number 10 jersey. But that can actually work in his favour a little bit. Like some of the runs that we've seen recently, I don't think maybe he'd have more pace. But he's got the power game, which actually is working in his favour a little bit at the moment. Yes, the season starts this weekend, but there's only 2 games this weekend. Says Kiwi Rob. But now, it's going to go off to the right-hand side. That's a mild retort. Says Peter Wild, and Highlanders play the Blues in the final. I've got terminal cancer, please shout me out. Says Yeti Bird. So shout out to you. I'm sorry for what you're going through. But yeah, shout out to you. And Landers to win the Super Rugby Pacific, says Tane. And who did you pick for this match? I do think that the Highlanders will be able to get the job done, although their discipline at the moment's been a bit poor. Another one going against Soani Vakina. That man's been penalised about 3 or 4 times throughout the first 19 minutes. How's it, Hamish? How are you? Says Anthony. Welcome in, mate. Doing very well. Oh, no, they're going to kick for the corner now. So, yeah, 4 penalties against the Highlanders, 3 advantages at least against Soani Vakina. Can you tell us the odds? Says Yeti Bird. So, for this game, in terms of the overall odds, $1.45 Highlanders, $2.60 Moana Pasifika. So, Highlanders are still favourites as we currently sit at 20 minutes in. Hello, I've arrived, says No Mum, welcome in. Now line out throw here for Moana Pasifika, Sana Revi. Ready to fire this ball in, nicely taken by Tom Savage. 5 metres out from the line, looking for the rolling maul. It's not really marching anywhere at the moment. Only just tuned in. He's at it again, says Roof. Now cross kick from Garden Bishop. This one's looking dangerous. Tima Falau has gone through his fingertips. Maybe felt a little bit of the pressure of Gilbert coming at him. Speaking of Landers' discipline, the Canes' discipline has been through the roof. Plus our handling errors. Honestly, there are about, I'd say, 3 or 4 New Zealand sides at the moment who have been far from their best when it comes to penalty counts and then also the amount of drop balls that we have seen. I worked with a guy from India. He played club cricket and he was shattering guys' wrists when he bowled the ball, says Matthew. Yeah, you don't want to be hit on the forearm or the elbow or anywhere around there. It is, at the end of the day, it's like hitting a rock, isn't it? Did you see the Highlanders Blues game? We certainly did. We did commentate that match as well. Hello, Peter Wild, says Ruth. Moana at home, which stadium? Samoa Tonga home soil. So for this game, their New Zealand-based contest will be out of North Harbour Stadium. Possession at the moment, 53% in favour of Moana Pasifika. What do you think about the Box possibly joining the Six Nations? I know it's one that really splits opinions. When we mentioned about it one other stream, the only positive that people could come up with of why they should join is because of the time zone. Other than that, though, like everyone else said, that there wouldn't be much point. And at the end of the day, the European sides probably wouldn't let them in anyway. But, it's one of those ones, I think it's because they want to face different opposition than we're used to, or they want another trophy with the opportunity of winning. But, like, the URC sides are already saying how hard the current schedule is and the amount of injuries that they're picking up. So I don't think the Box, for one, the world rankings wouldn't allow it. You're not allowed to play that many games throughout a season unless they were willing to give up their July or November internationals, in which case they would be one of the only inactive teams during that time. So, yeah, it would be a tricky one to do. North Harbour is not Plenty Island there. Why they host the match there? Says Rock, it's just the stadium that has worked out to be. Mount Smart Stadium was the one that they were using, but that's where the Warriors find themselves quite often now. 4th of March at McLean Park, Women Tour of New Zealand, first one-day international. And I'm going to the Bulls vs Stormers game tomorrow. Well, we are going to be commentating it, so who knows? Maybe we will end up seeing you there. Got another scrum feed now in this contest, though. 22 minutes in. And it's wild here, sunny, or weather is sunny. It's about 22 degrees at the ground. Did you watch the Shrek 5 trailer? I saw like a 3-second part and saw about 50,000 comments of people saying they hate it already. So, yeah, it'll be interesting how that goes. We have their Springboks win. World Cup 3-peat, says Bhavani. Now Hasty going off to the short side, off to Caleb Tangi Tau. Tries the little chip in behind. Nicely claimed by William Harvili, who had a lot of pressure on him. 25 metres out from the line now. Jonathan Tamatine goes back across to Garden Bishop. Oh, Tamofi. No, I'm back to Lasanga this time. Both lurking around the side of the breakdown. Thoughts on the superhero jerseys? I'm glad it's only a one-off for one round. But also, surely the Hurricanes could have found a superhero with yellow rather than Captain America. That's going to be knocked on by Alai Malo. Hasn't been able to hang on to it. Who do you spot in Super Rugby? I don't really have a team, to be honest. I'm pretty impartial in that regard. And so Afghanistan doing great cricket. Aussies, says Roof. Yeah, they have to win tonight, though, for Afghanistan. If they win that game, they actually knock Australia out unless South Africa get beaten badly in their game up against England. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But New Zealand and India already confirmed through. A rolling ball here for the Highlanders. 40 metres out from the line. Ball has been dropped out the back to Mothi Tavanawai. Tackle low, or in fact, Alai Malo's let him go, which means the Mothi gets another 15 metres. Hurricanes one should have been Wolverine. Yeah, or at least something with a bit of, did anyone else have Thor? Hurricanes could have had Thor if no one had Thor, although I can't remember if anyone did. I think that the Highlanders had the Hulk, didn't they? So, something with yellow. Highlanders are attacking on defence really well, says Wade now, quick hands. Sam Gilbert passes the ball into the touch. And which one is Highlanders? So they are the Hulk for their special superhero kit. And I should mention it is only just in the kids round of Super Rugby Pacific. Bit of a one-off, similar to what we saw for the South African sides a little while ago. And then also, I think we've seen it in the NRL too. That one's going to go into touch. About 10 metres out from the line now for the Highlanders. Now, earlier on, we did see Moana Pasifika. They turned down 3 points. I wonder whether or not that will come back to bite them here. Definitely if the Highlanders can then go on to score the try. Can you explain the different types of huckers the All Blacks do, please, says Anthony. I'm probably honestly not the best when it comes to being able to describe it. But of course, different huckers in terms of kapo, pango, or kamate, they both have slightly different meanings in terms of the lyrics of them or the words. It's going to be actually really well defended by Moana Pasifika, and they've managed to get the scrum in their favour now. Is there any other rugby tomorrow, says Mohadeen? So tomorrow we have got the Hurricanes versus Blues. And we have also got the 2 games of the URC. Bulls are taking on the Stormers. Lions are taking on the Sharks. England have been knocked out of the Champions Trophy. That is correct, which is great news for New Zealand because normally they're the ones who beat us. Hello, Hamish, and the rest of Hutang, or the Wu-Tang, I think that is from Drape. Let's go rugby, and Blue's got that, says Wade. And what's the difference between the All Blacks and the Māori All Blacks? The Māori All Blacks are kind of more of a, like they're an unofficial international team in some regards. A little bit similar to the Barbars, how they do still have the occasional games, but they aren't like in the rankings or anything along those sides. So like a special side, if that makes sense. Are you asleep? I'm not asleep at the moment, but I will be later. But now it's going to be a good scrum from Moana Pasifika. In fact, on the verge of winning the penalty, I believe, for that one. Danny Tawala runs straight over the top of Tane Robinson. My original bet was 20 points to 17 in favour of Moana Pasifika. There's Spider Mech. It's going to be kicked high, but it's gone right off the side of the boot for Garden Bishop. Now line out throw here for the Highlanders. We start to fast tomorrow or Sunday. Says Mochadin. Could the Māori All Blacks beat South Africa? Says Tane. I would say at the moment, no, because the All Blacks can't even beat South Africa. But, you know, like some of the lineups that they've had before, you know, if they play well, I think yes. But, yeah, at the moment, South Africa have got a little bit of a streak going up against the Kiwis. So, oh, that's going to be loose. Picked up by Moana Pasifika. Nice step from Solomon Alai Malo. Going down the wing up against his old side. Pipisana Patavilo goes on the inside. Jonathan Damatine off to William Havili. Now off, and then Papasana, he's dropped the ball. Bulls will win. Game in Joburg, says Bhavani. All Blacks, or Māori All Blacks, you have to have Māori heritage, says Novmum. And I Hamish, says Daniel in the chat as well. And what city / town do you live in? So I'm in a small town in the South Island, about halfway up. Best way of describing it, halfway between Christchurch and Dunedin. Tamatine. So just have that little bit of an extra spring in his step at the moment. 5 handling errors though from Moana Pasifika. That has certainly been hurting him. Our Hamish looks absolutely cool again. Nice hoodie. Says Roof, welcome in. And thank you very much, of course. 28 minutes into this contest. It's been going quick at the moment. I live in Dunedin, says Yeti Bird. So, of course, you would be going for the Highlanders here. Big scrum. Stays in there. 22 metres out from their own line. Tane Robinson kicks it down the middle of the field. William Havili back to cover. Now running this one off to the right-hand side. Wide cut-out pass to Tuma Falau. Caleb Tangitau manages to make the tackle on him. And by the counter-ruck was Tenuelu Talia. Garden Bishop skip pass. Out to Sanarevi. Oh no. That's going to be Sawani Vakina for his 4th penalty in this half. Tell you what, he's going to be lucky if he makes it to half-time. He has been, I think Ben O'Keefe has to take him off. And I wonder if Ben O'Keefe realises that it's the same guy every single time. They're all offsides. They're actually all up against Zawani Vakina. Right. Next one will be a yellow card. The odds for it to be Vakina are probably relatively high at the moment. However, the streak ends this year because the Chinese are near. Says Drape. The Māori All Blacks are requiring proof of Māori. Not some airy-fairy Babas comparison. Says Dion. And we have got the need yellow card Hurricanes first half, says Bhavani. Rugby always screws me in my betting. Aussies that doesn't even understand all the rules. Highlanders 7+, come on boys, says Tommy. The tricky thing is, like Super Rugby, I always say, it's so unpredictable. And honestly, like, you can think you know Super Rugby and then you could get 10 games wrong in a row. That's the type of competition that it is. Now it's going to be a line-out throw here for Sanarevi and Moana Pasifika. What one do you live in, Otago or Canterbury? So I'm technically South Canterbury, but where I am can also slightly be counted almost as North Otago. So it's like right on the verge. And depending on what part of town you're in, you're almost in a different region. Now going off to the right-hand side. Now, Tamatene having a fight for that ball in the breakdown. Going to go off to the right-hand side. I'm with Crusaders. They're going to come roaring back when they find their gum guards. Sears Ruth. 5 metres out. Tamatene. Going off. Artie Savia. Tackle well. Any advantage now? Oh, intercepted by Caleb Tangitau. They'll have to make sure he was onside, but if he was, he's going to run the full length of the field and score the try for the Highlanders. They got to score a few hundred metres from North Harbour Stadium. Says Yeti Bird, and it sounds like the try is going to stand. Caleb Tangitau reading it well and getting the massive steal. Third of the season already. Chiefs that cruise through to the final. Says Peter Wild. And boom, interception try. I don't like how they do some of the tries on Rugby 25. If you read my last message, you see why I don't really like Rugby 25. Says Brandon. Logan Park High School to be specific. Says Yeti Bird. Now getting ready to line up this kick. It's going to be Sam Gilbert. And that kick has gone over. 17 points to 10. And that hurts for a side when you're almost able to score it. And then you go pretty much 95 metres chasing. Was he onside? I think that's one of those ones that can easily be debated about whether or not Tamatene fully had his hands on the ball or not. The try stands. Come on, Moana Pasifika. Keep those landers in check. What would happen if South Africa beats New Zealand at Eden Park this year? Can you see it happening, says Banana Lucy. So if they beat New Zealand at Eden Park, they'll probably be sitting pretty nicely in the Rugby Championship table. Can I see it happening? I mean, the South Africa side at the moment are very strong, so New Zealand will have to be on their A game. But we also have no idea what kind of side Rassi's going to go with, because we've got to remember that's a coach that's tried 50 players throughout last season, and he's currently doing a boot camp with about 70 players in it, 50 in person, 20 online. So, like, who's going to even make it to Auckland for that match? Now, nice attack and run from Sanarevi. Tamatene going off to the left-hand side, Garden Bishop. Oh, Alai Malo tackle well by Tenuelu Talia, close to the touchline. Tane Robertson, pressure on him. Savia can't get the turnover. And New Zealand will win 28 points to 19. Says Banana Lucy. Now rolling it back, Hasty. We'll go for the box kick, currently 33 minutes through. Garden Bishop didn't pick it too well. Sits up with Tenuelu Talia. He's going to run it himself. I think they might just check to make sure Highlanders number 14 didn't knock that ball on. But if he didn't, that is going to be another try here for the Highlanders. Talia Savia, big names. Says Ruth. Of course, that is Tenuelu Talia rather than Mark. I was just watching your videos before the stream. Says Yeti Bird, and that was forward, says Kiwi Rob. If it's South Africa will win the second game in Wellington. We're going to see it now. Yeah, I think that's a knock-on from 14 for the Highlanders. I think we need to see that one in slower motion. Here we go. It went quick, so it's hard to tell, but I think from this angle, they're going to say it's fine. South Africa's fading in power. All Blacks will put 50 on them this year at Eden Park. So just out of curiosity, what would make you say that they're fading in power? Is it like certain players have retired? Is it the young guys coming through? Like, because I would almost have to say it's the opposite. You know, you look at someone like a Cameron Hanekom, who's coming up through the rankings, the young props that they're now going to be using in the near future after, I mean, we did see that announcement of Kitsoff for his retirement. You got those young guys in the back line who aren't even getting game time, honestly, like a Kane and Moody at times, he's not even getting to play. You've got Fussy at 15 who looks the good. Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu when he's back from his injury. Now it's going to be rolled backwards by the Highlanders. And no team win against the ABs at Eden Park. Is Daniel Brown related to Anton Lienert-Brown? He is his brother, yes. And Matthew, I think they will win. I don't see South Africa beating New Zealand at Eden Park. They will do it in Wellington, says Banana Lacey. Tom Savage tackled on the halfway line. All Blacks will have to play better than their game and play the A++ game if they want to keep their record intact at Eden Park. Now rolling this one back, Jonathan Tamatine. Kicks it high and also kicks the hand, I believe, of Fabian Holland. Tried to go for the charge down, Solomon Alai Malo. I think the ref said no one's hands actually got onto that. It's going to be play on. Sulamau. In fact, it's Sifo Kautai for this one. Any thoughts on Fiji draw winning? They've got a decent chance, I do think, up against the Waratahs. It's just whose defence is better for that contest, because we have seen both of those sides concede quite a few points. But, you know, it's a tricky one. All those players will be good against other teams, not the ABs. Although a couple of them have gone very good up against the All Blacks. I think Sasha Feinberg and Ngome Zulu almost got a man of the match performance up against the All Blacks, didn't he? Now Hasty, going back across to the left-hand side. Chance here for Sam Gilbert, who has to duck underneath. One of the challengers coming in from Moana Pasifika, and Adi Savia gets over the ball. Manages to win the penalty. South Africa have such a rich vein of young players coming through the ranks that it's difficult to see them fading away, says Johan. Who looks like the team to win Super Rugby this year. Just off these first couple rounds, I don't think many people would debate that currently, and this is not who I'm saying will win, but at the moment, first two rounds, the team that's looked the best, I believe, is the Chiefs, because they've got themselves 2 wins over New Zealand sides, the Crusaders, who did beat the Hurricanes in round number 1, the Chiefs were able to beat them in round 2, and also getting a win over the Blues, the defending champions of Super Rugby. So they'll probably have one of the hardest starts, and they've managed to handle it and get themselves 2 wins. So yeah, I'll probably say the Chiefs at the moment look like the favourite, but that can all change. You know, 3 more rounds, we could see 3 losses in a row for the Chiefs. Up against the Brumbies this weekend. Who knows what happens? Maybe we see an upset. But yeah, if we had to base it just off what we've seen at this point, Chiefs are looking pretty good. And yeah, the Chiefs says, hey. Now getting ready to throw this one in for Sarevi, or Sanarevi, I should say. 37 minutes into the match, currently 24 points to 10. Those 2 quick-fire tries from the Highlanders have taken Moana Pasifika out of this game a little bit and forced them to start going for those 7s rather than just taking any points available. Jonathan Tamatine, he's got Fabian Holland trying to go through the middle but couldn't quite get there. Now Danny Tawala, short ball, and it's going to be a bit of a miscommunication from Moana Pasifika. I'm going to buy a bucket of 5 litres vanilla ice cream, so my Friday special. South Africa is not the threat. It's France, says Drape. I think that they can both be threats, to be honest. Oh, knocked back by Moana Pasifika. Going off to the left-hand side. Hello, Malo, hanging on to this one. When does your next stream start New Zealand time? Next stream will be starting at 9:30 p.m. New Zealand time, and that is the match between the Fijian draw and the Waratahs. Highlanders getting the counter ruck, and they've managed to take this ball back only a couple metres out from Moana Pasifika's line. The big man does score it, Mitchell Dunshay. And the Highlanders, that is now 3 tries in a row. And this is what I think the All Blacks will look like. Williams, Asafo Moore, Fletcher Null, Fabian Holland, Scott Barrett, Wallace Titi, Savia, and Peter Lakai. Also, you're going with quite a young team in that regard. Just extra bit of pressure. When does your next stream start New Zealand time? So 9:30 p.m, like I said. And that one's between the draw and the Tars. But now, sitting about 90 seconds remaining in this first half. By the time Gilbert kicks this, we will be down to the last minute. And that kick has gone over. I want to see him not play for the All Blacks, says Kiwi Rob. He's been close, but like he's been in the All Blacks XV, I believe. He's made it into that side. But then in terms of positionally, where would you play him? Would you play him as your 15 Because if so, you know, he's got to make it past the likes of Will Jordan and Bowden Barrett first to be able to get that chance. If you're going to play him in that centre pairing, he could be a 12, to be fair. But then saying that, Geordie Barrett, when he's in form, extremely hard to kick him out of the side too. He was going to be starting on the right wing, so that would be for either Talia or Severis or Ramoni Narawa that they would have to try and get him in. So unfortunately, he's very solid and quite good. But in terms of the positions that he plays, there's always someone at the moment who they're picking in front of him, which does make it difficult. Now sitting 30 seconds left in the half, 31 points to 10. In favour of the Highlanders now. Tamatine back into the pocket goes to Alai Marlo. Already 41 points have been scored in this first half. Highlanders would currently be sitting with a chance at a bonus point if they can get another here. Nice attack and run from the late replacement, 14. Moana Pasifika wanting to go for that counter ruck, but not able to get it. Now nice attack and run from Tane Robinson. Hangs on to it. Savia look for the turnover. Do you like the Highlanders or the Crusaders better? Says Yeti Bird. Are we talking like for chances this year, or are we talking the players? Are we talking just the club in general? What's the gist of it? Now, counter ruck coming from Savia. Gets another steal for Moana Pasifika. It looks like it's over for Moana at the stage. Unless they can score again soon. They've decided to kick this ball into touch though. So that is going to be halftime. 31 points to 10. But a lot of early pressure coming from the Highlanders club. Says Yeti Bird. I mean, they've both got their fair share of talent at the moment. In terms of history-wise, I mean, the Crusaders have definitely got the accolades behind them, but the Highlanders have always been that side down south that have had to really fight hard. They've had some great support from the Zoo over the years. I mean, when Waisaki Naholo was one of the most popular men in the competition at any time it was in Dunedin, you get the Waisaki Naholo chance. But now, second half, probably around 12 minutes or so away. What happened in the last 10 minutes? Unfortunately, we did just see a bit of the downfall for Moana Pasifika, giving away that interception try, and then from there, just little errors that have led to the Highlanders really being able to charge their way forward. And now they've got a 21-point lead. So they've pretty much done exactly what they would have liked to have. And in the half, Crusaders has the record for most championship wins, says Ruth. Yeah, like they have a very impressive trophy cabinet, the Crusaders, and that's why so many people were surprised at what happened last year. They weren't really able to do the same as we had seen in the past, but they've had one more season together and it seems to have made them come a long way. 11 as fast. Yeah, Caleb Tangitau, a lot of these guys with the Sevens background have been tearing it up this year in Super Rugby, whether that's Caleb Tangitau, Fehi Fini'a-Norfo for the Hurricanes. You've got Leroy Carter for the Chiefs. He's also been looking strong. And see you later, mate, says PSG. We will see you later. And that sounds yummy, Roof. I'm having crayfish. And I got when I went for a dive last weekend. You mentioned, I think I've got the right person. You mentioned about that last stream, didn't you? About you going diving and seeing whether or not you could get something. Landers play too good today, says Ruslan Lee. Yeah, they've taken their chances. Like, that's the thing. Moana Pasifika throughout maybe the first 15 minutes were right in it as well. But then from there, the momentum shifted. That interception try happened. Moana disappointing, says Sporty Dude. But that's like the thing. Like, with the exception of those last maybe 10 minutes, they looked all right. You know, Savia's got about 3 or 4 turnovers in the breakdown. He's been looking like a real asset for this team, but it's just the rest haven't really lived up to that same level. We've seen quite a few handling errors from the back. You know, Tamafalaui's put one down. Pipisana Patafilo the same. Alaimano's dropped one. Havili, Garden Bishop. So you pretty much got a drop for every single player in that back line. Tana won't be happy chappy. The boys will get the message, says Francis. And it sounds delish. Keep me some, please, says Ruth. Yeah, second half will be interesting to see what the development of this game is. The next game that we are doing is the Fijian Roar versus the Waratahs. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. What we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the stats and see whether or not they do match what we've seen If this was the draw, I would believe in a comeback. Hard to see with the Pacifica, says Drape. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They were down by quite a few tries up against the Reds, weren't they? And to their credit, they came back a little bit, but I think it's just too many points. You know, up against the Reds, in the end, they did lose by around that 20 margin. Or exactly 20, 56 points to 36. But their problem was they were scoring maybe one try and every once in a while two, but the Reds continued to score tries and just so slowly snuck away from that one. But looking at what is coming next week as well for these two sides, ladies and gents, for Moana Pasifika, they will be taking on the Hurricanes. For the Highlanders, you will not see their name there as they have got the bye week. So those are the matches coming up in round number 4. Blues versus Brumbies on the Friday night draw versus the Chiefs. That's going to be a very entertaining one. And also Crusaders Reds actually going to be a Sunday afternoon kickoff for that contest. The first game that has taken place on a day other than Friday and Saturday. And this is the way that the table currently sits. So Moana Pasifika, this is not going to be helping out with their overall standings and points differential. The Blues, they are still at the bottom of the bunch. They are eagerly chasing that first point and even 4 or 5 for their next contest up against the Canes. Talking about diving. I was diving in a hen and a chicken, came face to face with the Great White, says Spider Mick. And yes, Suali'i and the boys, says Ruslin. It's going to be the third loss for Moana, says Hey Hey, and the Reds are looking good. Bouncing Kangaroo, says Ruth. And also we have there, Rufus said Spider. And Evening Hamish says David the Mole. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hope you're excited for the matches that are to come this weekend. Like I said, compared to last week, this one's going to feel like an absolute breeze. We have only got 5 live streams throughout the weekend. And I know that 5 is actually a lot when you consider, you know, normally 1 or 2 a week. It's about the stock standard, but yeah, we've got 5. We've got these 2 games tonight, and then we've only got 3 more after that. We've got the Blues versus the Hurricanes taking place tomorrow. And then alongside that, we have got the games of the URC throughohout the night. This is my All Blacks backline for 2025. Cameron Roygard as the 9, Damian McKenzie, Caleb Clark, Geordie Barrett, Anton Leonard-Brown, Chiefs winger, so I assume that's either Leroy Carter or Moni Narawa. Probably Carter, to be fair. And then Will Jordan at number 15, and absolutely, brother, says David the Mod. The Canes are going to get canned in Dunedin next week. And you've got there about the Reds looking good. But the Reds, they are going to be in action tomorrow night. They are up against the Western Force. That is the evening game at 9:35. We aren't actually covering that one on the channel. We've just got the 1 out of the 3 games tomorrow for Hurricanes versus the Blues. We will be scheduling that tomorrow morning. The bonus point win takes us to 1. Says PSG. Yeah, that's the thing. 5 points on the board for the Highlanders after this contest would put them, like you said, into that number 1 spot just for now. I believe they would be able to stay there for at least the night, seeing as everyone else who can go up there, whether that's the Force, the Reds, or the Chiefs, they are all playing tomorrow up against separate opposition. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see does happen there. But in terms of the stats for this matchup so far, possession has been pretty close to 50-50, 52% in favour of Moana Pasifika. We have seen 4 tries to the 2 in favour of the Landers. Metres gained 259 for the Highlanders compared to 197 of Moana Pasifika. 8 defenders beaten per team, 3 clean breaks each as well. We've seen more offloads from the Highlanders. And then also defensively, 88 tackles made by the Landers, 8 missed, and 56 tackles made by Moana Pasifika. Discipline at the moment, it is an interesting one. That is something that could let the Highlanders down for this match. They've already given away 6 penalties. I believe at least 2 or 3 of those have been against Suwane Vakena. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens for the rest of this half. What we're going to do is we're going to click here. What does it say about Suwane Vakena? It doesn't actually have penalties conceded. He's made 10 tackles though, so doing nicely in that regard. And we have got there, I'm going to make some coffee. Says Ruth. Yeah, of course, early morning start for you guys in South Africa. The game that has taken place for the URC, Sharks versus Lions. That will be a nice afternoon kickoff on Saturday for you guys, whereas it is a Sunday morning kickoff for us here in New Zealand. For the try scorers that we've seen so far, we've seen Caleb Tangitau, Nathan Hasty, Tenuelu Talia, and also Mitchell Dunshay. Then for Moana Pasifika, we've seen 2, William Havili and Sione Mafaleo. But second half at North Harbour Stadium, not a mile off. Do let me know your in-score predictions, ladies and gents. Will we get to see 50 points for the Highlanders here, or will we see the start of a comeback for Moana Pasifika? I still think that they can get 1 or 2 more tries in this match. But in that time that they get 2 tries, I do think we're going to see a lot more coming from the Highlanders as well. 52 points to 17. Says Polly Guy as the end prediction. I went to the game where Ireland beat New Zealand for the first time in Dunedin. Says Yeti Bird. That would have been quite the atmosphere down south, I'm sure. I'm just going to have a quick look. How many teams have reached 50 points so far across the comp? We've seen no one reach it in round 1. I know that the Reds got there in round 2. Yes, they did. So the Reds are the only team who have brought up more than 50 points. And that was actually up against Moana Pasifika. The second closest to that was 49 for the Chiefs. That was actually up against the Crusaders. So across those 2 games, we had about 170, 180 points for just that first day. In fact, closer to 170, I think. There were 73 scored for Chiefs Crusaders, and then 92 scored. So the math says that that's close to 170. We'll at least go with that. That's frightening. Imagine a 6-footer one, says Ruth. But also do let me know, of course, who you guys think will be winning this match and the first try scorer of the second half. For me, I honestly do think Moana Pasifika have something in them early. But it's whether or not they can keep up with the Highlanders after that stage. So I'm going to go either Whailangi or Tamatine. Did you see the haka the Landers did for Conaghan and Bishop when they played the Blues? I did indeed. A nice tribute to the man. We've got the Uber Eats ad, so I would say we're only a minute or 2 away from the second half, where I do think we're going to see a lot more tries being scored. In the next game, I think it will be very similar. Fiji and Drua, they are going to be going head-to-head with none other than the Waratahs. For me, the Highlanders. Says hey to everyone who survived a Shark meeting. Says Ruth. Yeah, the Highlanders, I would say if they score, honestly, any less than, sounds harsh, but any less than 3 tries, I think they'll be disappointed in this half because they've had so much strong counter-attacking in that first half, I think is the best way of describing it. I went to Wesley College between 89 and 92, says Wade. We had a few encounters, a couple of 8-footers in December. We jumped straight into the boat, went to another spot. Says Matthew. This is my All Blacks bench. Sorry about the bad spelling. Hang on. Says Banana Lucy. Kind of came to my school in 2024 in the preseason, as well as Ethan de Groot and a few more Highlanders. Says Yeti Bird. And the Sharks no joke. Says Drake. In there too. Barrett Brothers ready for the season, says Roof. Yeah, we're currently seeing 2 of them in action for Super Rugby. The other, of course, up in the Northern Hemisphere, up against, for Leinster. Got the Wi-Fi and the coconut tree still amigo, says Aaron. Welcome back, mate. It is great to have you here once more. Currently a good performance from the Highlanders in that first half. Moana Pasifika not having too many massive chances, but still every once in a while look likely be able to get themselves the try. They never won a super title, says Drape. At 16 with a question mark. Ethan de Groot, Tyrell Lomax, Tupavai, Ethan Blackadder, Kyle Preston. Barrett at 22 and Timothy Tavatava Nawai. Don't know about who will be the hooker. So in your starting lineup, I think you had a Safwa Moa. So you've got Cody Taylor, you've got Simasoni Taukiaho, you've got Ricky Riccatelli, possibly the three front runners at the moment, I would say. In terms of outside of course, the Safwa Moa. Some would maybe say Kurt Eklund. That's another option there too. How the Highlanders thrashed the Hurricanes in 2024 preseason and have such a bad season, says Eddie Bird. How did the Highlanders thrash? Well, it's a tricky one because preseason's very different. You know, you go into a preseason game with 40 names on your team sheet. So that does make a bit of a difference. Does anyone remember Fori Duprea for the Bulls, says Ruth? Just talking here to Jamie Joseph. Yes, Cody Taylor on the subs. I would go with him. Okay, the Highlanders have just pretty much said every week so far, Moana Pasifika have come back a little bit in the second half. So they are expecting Moana Pasifika to put a bit of fight on the table for the second 40. Timothy Tavatavanawa definitely needs to be at least on the bench for the All Blacks. Calling it, he's going to be the breakout star for the All Blacks this year, says Manana Lucy. Just having a chat to Tana Umanga as well before the second half gets underway, saying they're making far too many errors throughout that first half. And have the Chiefs ever won Super Rugby, or did they choke in every final? They have won it. 2000 and... It was mid-2010s. One moment. Chiefs Super Rugby winners. They won it in 2013 and 2014. Were the 2 years that they've managed to win it. So they actually went back-to-back in that period. A Blues next opponent, Hammy. So the Blues are going to be playing tomorrow night up against the Hurricanes. Then the week after that, I believe they are going to be playing the Brumbies on Friday night. But yeah, tomorrow they'll be up against the Canes at 7:05. Kicked off by the Highlanders, and we are back underway for another match, Connor. Or wasn't him chasing the ball hard. Now it's going to be back into the pocket. Jonathan Tamatine. Back across to the right-hand side. Chance here on the halfway line here for the Highlanders. Trying to sneak their way through. Hasty goes off to the right. Looks like Sawane Vakina has been taken off the field. That is for Taylor, and that is due to the amount of penalties he's given away throughout that first half. You just can't really afford it. And twice, says Drape. And then the Highlanders won in 2015. Says Yeti Bird, and come on Pacifica, says Matthew. Now back across to the right-hand side. Mofi Tavatavanawa, nice tackle made on him by Solomon Aloimalo. Jack Taylor. Tackled on the halfway line. Hasty back into the pocket. Goes to Sam Gilbert. On high with this one. Well taken by Garden Bishop. Solid tackle on him. Counter ruck coming from the Highlanders, but Tamatine's there. Neni Tawala. Quite able to offload that one either. Tomorrow, the start of the Blues winning ways. See Spider Mick. If it's not, then it's going to be a very similar start to what we saw for the Crusaders, unfortunately, for the Blues. Maybe that's just something that's going to happen for the defending champs from now on. Start of the season doesn't go to plan, but I'm sure the Blues will fire back. Sam Gilbert going for the chip in behind. Going to bounce here, so it could have gone anywhere. Garden Bishop tries to get back, but instead it will be Jonathan Tamatino who asks about a penalty for being played on the ground, and it is going to be Moana Pasifika's penalty here. Here's home, and the All Blacks have a good squad this time, says Hey. Blues are going to have a 2024 Crusaders season, says Yeti Bird. And no, Mick, brother, I'm sorry, brother. McCain's need to win. 60 plus, I reckon, or even it'll go to 70 plus. Record breaking for the Highlanders. I like the optimism. I think that 3 tries for a start would be a good kind of foundation. So getting to that 50 points first. But like they've said, Moana Pasifika, they have been a second half team for quite some time. And their first two games, even though they weren't able to win them, they were able to fire back throughout a second half. So I think that's what we will be expecting here from Moana too. Thrown in, nicely taken by Tom Savage. This one's making some nice meterage at the moment. Fabian Holland trying to go through the middle. Big shot on Kieran Tumafalau, who decided to try and run straight into a two-man wall. Ball's popped out the back. Highlanders back in position. Broughton gives it off to Hasty, who sells the dummy. Goes through, flick on the inside. Tangitau just can't quite hold it. And it will go back for the knock-on. I didn't tell I was a crazy thing watching the Brumbies. Says Judah. I'll see about that, bro. Says Spider-Mick in there too. But yeah, inside ball from Hasty. Tangitau not quite able to hold it. Depends on the bench, Amish, whose bench lineup is much stronger. Says Rock. Well, at the moment, for the Highlanders, it's probably not as stacked as we are used to seeing. They have got Ethan de Groot there. Silwa Mau and Stoddard is there. Howden. Ascot is there rather than Hasty because there's no Falau Fakatava, Cam Miller, and then also Jake Tahiwi. I mean, Sama Malolo, he should be able to add something for Moana Pasifika, even though, of course, we've seen quite a good start from Sanarevi, Samuel Slade, Milani Mataval, Palangrini. I do think the benches are relatively even for this one. Highlanders also making a lot of tackles throughout that first half, so perhaps fatigue could start to play a bit of a factor. After that defeat to Ireland and Dunedin, the All Blacks had a massive losing streak. Where's Ardie Savia? He's playing at number 7 for Moana Pasifika. Currently has about 3 turnovers for his side. Been kicked high. And drop ball from Sam Gilbert goes backwards. Now Hasty looking for a 50-22. Awkward bouncing ball. Well handle at the back from Garden Bishop. Gets it off to Solomon Alai Malo. It's kicked down the middle of the field. Yeah, the All Blacks need to be up there. Highlanders bench is so powerful, I reckon. Says Rock. Kicked high from Tane Robinson. Waiting for this one to come down. Claimed by Savia. Under the high ball. Goes straight through. And Savia will score for Moana Pasifika. I'm sure your boys will be going full cylinders, pumping. Good luck. Papali is a beast, bro, says Drape. But the first try of the second half does go the way of Moana. And Savia, his second try of the season, goes up for the high ball. Robinson looked a little bit too casual with it. I think he had his eyes on someone else other than Savia to try and challenge him in the air. Hey, no worries, I'm getting a bit nervous. And go Savia, mean try, says Matthew. And I had a bet on the over. When I hit it, the announcer said try scored by Judah. Now that makes it a 16-point difference between these two teams. These kicks have to start going over for Moana Pasifika. William Havili currently sitting 0 from 2. And now he's sitting 0 from 3. It's going to mean that Moana have to score a lot more tries than they would have first anticipated. But yeah, Savia to go up for that ball the way that he did, win the aerial battle, and then just no one able to catch up with him. Who's the try scorer so far? So for Moana Pasifika, we have seen William Havili, Ardie Savia, and then also Sione Mafaleo. For the Highlanders, we have seen Mitchell Dunshay, Caleb Tangitau, who else have we had in that backline? We've also seen tries for Nathan Hasty, the halfback, and then I think the fourth was Tenuelu Talia. Who is Ardie in their fantasy? Says Nov Mum and Brumbies have several Fijians there, Valentini. I know Julian Savia's nickname is the Bus, but what's Ardie's? What's his name? I don't think he's really got too much of a nickname, to be honest. So Moana Pasifika is starting to make a few more changes here. Sione Mafaleo, he will make his way off. And that is going to be for Chris Apua, who makes his way on. Going to be overthrown. left alone by Caleb Tangitau. That was an interesting choice. Maybe he got the call on the outside from Timothy Tavatava-Nawai, who will keep driving with his legs, although he's lost about 10 metres in the process. Converted, it was not. No, missed the kick again for William Havili. The Highlanders have got the ball. Hasty will kick it high. TK Howden, he's onto the park for Sean With there. Tenuelu Talia knocks that ball on. They will go back for the scrum. I bet on the over in this game too. I need it to hit 70, says Judah. Yeah, Mafaleo, he is on for Chris Apua. Off for Chris Apua. It would be that Savia hasn't helped much of an improvement to Moana Pasifika, says NZ Riot. I mean, in this game he scored a try and he's had 3 turnovers. And they've also scored a lot more points this year than they were scoring last year. So I'd say he's had a decent impact. They probably haven't had the best run in terms of injuries either. I mean, Artie Savia, he was looking forward to playing with his brother Julian, and he's gone down with the injury. It's going to leave him out for most of the season. And they need another kicker for Pacifica in the second half, says Matthew. Now, I'm not too sure who their backup would actually be. Maybe Patrick Pellegrini would probably do it once he makes his way off. That's a knockout. That's not good. Head on the wrong side. Highlanders player knocked unconscious, and this is going to be a stoppage, ladies and gents, but that is not how you tackle. Like they've said, the tackle was fine. Well, the tackle was not fine, theoretically. He did get completely knocked out by Danny Tawalu, who ran it straight. There's this mobile rugby game called Rugby Nations 24. You should try it. I guess some NPC lads on the Highlanders lineup this season. Danny Tawala just running it straight. Oh, tell you what, that tackle was not okay. Cam Miller head on head. This is probably a yellow card. If we're being consistent. But yeah, trying to headbutt someone with headgear on straight away is not the way to go. He has, but it needs to be the rest of the team. He needs to be better. And we have got the great ones don't have nicknames. They just call them by their first name or last name, like Tana or McCaw, says Drape. What about when they have a brother? Because like Savia, are we talking about Julian or are we talking about Artie when you say Savia? So like sometimes you have to use a first name. You could just say Artie, but I think Savia's got more of a ring to it. Ho's gone off. So it's going to be Cam Miller, the man who only recently made his way on. He is going to be taken straight back off because he decided to try and tackle with his head, which is not good. And he got fully knocked out, fully smacked the back of his head on the ground. So he will not be playing for the next couple of weeks at least here. Jamie Joseph will be the next All Blacks coach after Scott Robinson, which will be in 2028. You should make a video on that game, says Eddie Bird. We're currently doing our Rugby 25 career mode, of course, so we'll probably stick with that for a little bit of time, playing as the Canes. But we are going to be extending to other teams in the future as the game continues to receive updates. I mean, enough of an improvement, says NZ Riot. So you're saying that because they're not at the moment top 8 after 2 games, that Savia at their team has been a fail, I assume is what you're saying. But I'll just say give them time. At the end of the day, like, even if, like, it would be a shame if they weren't to make the top 8, but it's a possibility that could be the case. Even if they weren't going to, I feel like having someone with the leadership of Artie Savia in that environment is going to do wonders for these young guys that they've got coming through the ranks. Someone like a Kieran Timafalau. Yes, he's in the back line, but, you know, having that winner's mindset that Savia seems to bring to his side, teaching these young guys, Whaialangi in that loose forward trio. Then again, Michael Jones, Iceman, Bus, and Bike, if you want to name for him. And what do you think about the Chiefs coach going to Munster? Says Banana. Lucy will be interesting. See how he goes. I think they're just showing here All Blacks defeat the Pacific Islands 41 points to 26 at North Harbour Stadium. It was back in 2004. Saw that match taking place that we're seeing the highlights for to the Highlanders career mode. But win this time rather than Rugby Challenge 4, says Yeti Bird. We've got there 31-15, says Jack. And then what happens when you have Aaron Smith, Aaron Cruden, Ben Smith, Conrad Smith, says Novmum. And Havili just needs to step up on his kicking game. Artie's doing great at the moment, says Right My Balls. Yeah, like, Havili normally doesn't miss this many, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure what has happened for him, but he was even missing those ones straight out in front, hooking them away to the side. But yeah, we've got a bit of a stoppage still here, ladies and gents, just for that Cam Miller injury. Hopefully he is going to be all right. A Foster coaching in Japan, says Daniel. I think so, and he's helping out anyway. He's been a bit of a floater the last few years, Foster. How anyone who wants a bit of a hand, he seems to be willing to help them out. Seeing there a Taranaki kit in the stands. Of course, they have got themselves the Ranfurly Shield currently. Bunnings NPC still a few months away from starting, but there'll be Ranfurly Shield challenges early on. Normally the Heartland winner. Good morning, Hamish lads. Grand weather here in the sticks in the UK. Makes all the difference, says Kernovik. And Foster is in France right now. Says Rock My Balls. Just showing that try of Tenuelu Talia. 21-point blitz in 10 minutes to end the first half is the headline that they've got there for the Highlanders, and that might be the difference maker. We've seen Moana Pasifika score themselves 3 tries, so it's getting harder for the Highlanders to get that 5 points. They are still just taping up Cam Miller in terms of the stretcher to try and keep his neck in place. He did slam his head extremely hard on the ground. Yeah, Tane Robinson, he is going to be back on, but that is a big hit for the Highlanders. Cam Miller, young player with a bunch of talent. And everybody go to Japan because of the money, always money, eh, says Spider-Mick. Well, nowadays for rugby, you can afford to chase the money because there is actually money to chase. You know, back in the old days, it was only the really, really, really good players that got any sort of money overseas, which is why we saw so many stacked teams in Super Rugby and whatnot. But yeah, now that there's money, you know, you can make $1 million a season going to France or $1 million going to Japan. And these smaller, like, I'm not saying smaller competitions in a bad way, but the smaller competitions financially just can't compete. I thought Cam Miller was benched earlier, or who did he replace? So he came onto the field for Tane Robinson, who then made his way back on now due to Cam Miller going off, and he won't return. I'm curious about the fact that they haven't looked at this one, though. Like, I know that it sounds awful, and, you know, for Cam Miller, hopefully he does recover, but he was upright. It was head on head. He got knocked out, of course, but I would have thought that that would at least get checked by the TMO. Whether he was injured by it or not, what if it had been Danny Tuala who had been knocked out? Would we have looked at it then? Is it just because he's the tackler that they've decided that you don't? But yeah, he was upright. We've seen them given as yellows. We've even seen guys who have been knocked out get given the red card as they're going off. Highlanders possibly a little bit lucky that they've still got 15 out there. Just showing the next 5 games for Moana Pasifika. They are going to have themselves the game next week up against the Hurricanes. A ref you missed out on the KO. I never play rugby hammy, but I'm well off, says Spider Mick. Right, good on you, I guess. Did you go to Japan? That's where you said the money always is. But Cam Miller just about to make his way from the field on one of the little buggies. And there's going to be a scrum feed. I believe this would have to be Moana Pasifika's ball, I would think, seeing as they did have possession at the time. No bonus points yet, says Rock. And I think it will be tough to get one because we have seen 3 tries from Moana Pasifika and the 4 tries from the Highlanders. Who knocked who out. So it was Danny Tuala running it straight. Cam Miller ended up tackling him too high, head-on-head contact. Not looked at again, but yeah, it's a yellow card. Or sorry, not a yellow card. It's just a Cam Miller going off. Okay. So they've just said, Ben O'Keefe said that it was accidental. So for that, it means that there's no foul play. They're just talking about a similar tackle earlier on that was also given as a yellow card. So a bit of fortune there for Cam Miller, but at the same time, like, he wouldn't even know that he got a yellow card because he was sleeping. I'm kind of relieved that the Highlanders should win this, says NZ Riot. And Highlander KO himself says Wayne. Now Jonathan Tamatina goes across to Jackson, Garden Bishop, and it's going to stay in the field of play, but Tumafalau ends up running it out. Looks like it's going to be the Highlanders now with this line-out throw. Yeah, I think he was expecting that ball to roll on and into touch. So Tumafalau took it a little bit too casually. Ball in the end finds the touchline. Jack Taylor now with the line-out throw. And they do go in short. That was a bit of an awkward one for the Landers. They get it wrong. And the free kick does go against them. I 100% got the Southlanders or Southern lads are being peeved by their player going north. But as Hamish says, it's good money and the most players are burned out by the time they reach 35. Make hay while the sun shines. Yeah, like at the end of the day, for a lot of these guys, rugby will end up probably being their only career. Definitely those guys going overseas with the big money, unless coaching or anything like that comes along. So, like you said, if the money's there, yes, like playing international rugby is like the prestige of the rugby world. But like some of those guys, like the perfect example of that is Lester Whainanukau. This is pure pace down the wing for the Highlanders, getting the offload away to the Mothi Tavatavanawa. But he said the goal was never to represent the All Blacks. The goal was to provide for his family. And from playing in France, he's been able to do that well and truly, much more than when he was in an All Blacks kit. Can you please tell me you scored for the Highlanders? So we've seen 4 tries so far. We've seen Hasty score. We've seen Tenuelu Talea, Caleb Tangitau, and Mitchell Dunshay. Those are the 4 try scorers. And that is another penalty won by Artie Savia, about his 4th of the contest now. Seems like at the moment he's just helping his side stay in this contest, firing them up. There's some brilliant defence coming in as well. But Tamote Tavatavanawa up against Savia. Was there a clear release? I'm not sure, but he did get the penalty anyway. Now line out here. Still going to be Sanarevi. Thrown in. And stolen by the Highlanders with Ethan de Groot. And good one, Savia, says Matthew. Damatino was trying to ask the question whether or not he was tip-tackled there. Garden Bishop is off and Pellegrini is on. Manson needs a new t-shirt, says Punisher. Manson. Who's Manson? Now, it's going to be kicked high. And well taken. Oh, a big shot coming in on Sam Gilbert. Is that who they had out on the right wing for this game? Is that Manson? Yeah, sorry, Michael Manson. My bad. And it happened to me once. Me and the other guy both dove for the ball and our heads popped together like coconuts, both knocked out, says Judah. And hey, Hamish, are you streaming the game at 9:35 p.m. tonight? We certainly are, yes. I think one thing we've learned about the kits is it's certainly a good advertisement for the manufacturer, because they just get grabbed by the strip. And, you know, they can drag a full-sized individual behind them. I've only got 12 subs. So there's Yeti Bird there. Now going back across to the right-hand side, Pellegrini going for the kick in behind. Beautiful bounce of the ball. And it rolls into touch. And Hamish Waratah's on the draw at 10:30, says Ruth. And yep, we are going to be covering that one on the channel. Maybe it's not over yet, says NZ Riot. And we have got there, I do think the All Blacks need to get Richie Mo'unga back when they can next year, especially for the 2027 Rugby World Cup, because they're lacking depth at 10, says Banana. And minus 69.5 points, says Arno. We'll have to let you come up with that. You're the one who is going to be betting on it. Now Jack Taylor. You ready to throw this ball in? Nicely taken by Fabian Holland, who's, he's under pressure from Tom Savage, who's dragged him down. Ball comes out short side. Hasty close to the touchline. Tangi Tau kicks it out, but it was inside of the 22. So it does mean that he's able to go and make a few extra meters. All right, sounds like Moana Pasifika are making another change here. Either Taualangi, yes, in fact, both Taualangi and Samuel Slade will make their way on. I bet the over plus 69.5 is going to be close, says Judah. Currently only 26 minutes remaining. Ready to throw this one in. Sana Revi. So Miracle Whaialangi was one of the men who were taken out. That is for the replacement blind side. Sitting only about 30 meters out. So Jorge Martin is injured again. Oh, sorry, that's MotoGP, wrong channel. Says Bruce. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have a clue about that, to be honest. That's going to be a penalty now going the way of the Highlanders to Mothi Tava Nawai. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. One of my favourite actors. Let's go the Landers. Gene Hackman. I would be lying if I said the name rung a bell, but I've probably seen something with them in it. Pacific have half the score they can. Have 2 tries, says Ruth. And at the moment for the Highlanders, they need 2 more tries to be able to get themselves the winning bonus points. So that will be honestly, the bare minimum that they'll want from this contest. Although they did say at halftime that they know Moana Pasifika are a tough side in the second half. Judah went with $60 to minus 69.5. Says Arno. To be fair, if they shut them down for a bit longer, you might be all right. It's just whether or not the Highlanders can get a couple quick breaks, and there's going to be another drop ball from the Landers. The pressure's starting to get to them a little bit here. Now, Denny Tuala will be kicking this one downfield, and it's dropped well, kept in by Caleb Tangi Tau. Bit of skill there. Well, as much skill as you can have from originally dropping the ball. Now, nice attack and run from Pipisana Patafilo. What was Samuel Slade doing there? He was the support runner. He was standing still. Perfect position for the pass. Never even put his hand up. So I have no idea what he was expecting. Maybe to not get the pass. But when you're literally in a 2-on-1, look at this. Just not even expecting the ball. Mississippi Burning, great movie, says Drape. Good luck, I bet at $80 American on the over, says Judah. Now looks like another change is going to be made. James R. Scott making his way on, and that is going to be for Hasty. First appearance this year for James R. Scott. Hackman, the French Connection, in the 70s, grand fella, outstanding actor. He was the bad guy in Unforgiven. As you guys know, I'm a real movie novice when it comes to watching movies. So all these movies that are being mentioned, I have not seen any of them. Even the Superman ones I haven't seen. Right, that's going to be a reset now. Love him in Mississippi Burning, great movie. Do you like Rugby 25 better than Rugby Challenge 4? Explain your reasons. I think that Rugby Challenge 4 gameplay-wise is still better, but Rugby 25 has a lot more potential in terms of the amount of licenses and everything that they've got. So, it'll be an interesting one to see if they can keep on improving it. They've said that there's going to be updates every Tuesday and Thursday for the game. So if we can get to the stage of AI making more than one pass, it's going to be good, hopefully. And now it's going to be a scrum feed for the Highlanders. Down to 22 minutes left on the clock now. How much money does Rugby 25 cost? It's about $85 now. It was around $55 during early access. Then they decided that when they released it in full that they were going to up the price by quite a bit. Now Sam Gilbert, he will be able to kick this one towards the touch line. doesn't get as much distance, I don't think, as he would have liked. Now on the halfway line for the Highlanders, Jack Taylor. Throw this one in, he's gone short. James Arscott gets the offload away to Taylor again. Going to be sitting about 20 metres inside of the halfway. Now Arscott again goes off to Timothy Tavanawa. In fact, this time it's Lasanga. To the right again. Tenuelu Talia. Tackled awkwardly, getting his neck stretched. Now De Groot, terrible pass to Sam Gilbert, who's knocked it on, although referee says play on. Nope, now they will go back. He was talking to Oscar in Sesame Street about bullying, says Drape. I spent $120 on FIFA 25, says Yeti Bird. And Unforgiven is a Western, says Wade. Hang on, I'll quickly, what was his name? I'll go back and find it. Gene Hackman. While we've got the scrum resetting, I will quickly Google him and see if I recognise the guy. I don't think I've ever seen him before. I don't think he's been in a movie that I've actually watched. By the looks of that. No, I don't think so. Lomu was a freak, especially when he never played at 100%. Says Matthew. He was also a former US Marine. Moana Pasifika, still decent support for them in the stands by the looks of it. I wouldn't mind seeing them close this gap and then, of course, work towards their own bonus point from this game. Any possible 69 plus point, says Tarnum. Is that what you have bet on, I assume? It depends because, 21 minutes left is enough time to score. How many points would that be? We've got 46 at the moment, so you still need another 23. That's tough. That's probably 4 tries in the last 21 minutes. But if either of these sides get rolling, we saw the Highlanders score 3 tries in 10 minutes. I'm back across to the left-hand side here for Moana Pasifika. And Danny Tuala thought about the offload. Still manages to find it to Solomon Alai-Malu, who gives it straight back to James Arscott. Now Lasanga thought about the kick, giving it straight back to Moana Pasifika on the halfway line. I went to score with Jonas, says Wade. Surprised that the All Blacks missed the penalty kick in the World Cup final in that conversion, says Yeti Bird. Not necessarily. At the end of the day, some of the kicks go over, some of them don't, and that's just a part of the game, isn't it? We've seen in this game in particular, William Harvey, who's normally pretty safe off a kicking D, he's missed 3, and all of them have been much easier than some of those ones he's been banging over. Going short side here, Gilbert. Hit well by Kieran Tumafalau. Into the last quarter of this contest, Ethan de Groot. Well, Hammy, why do you have a TV? Oh, we have one, but we haven't got like the Sky or anything on it. I've got Sky Sport now, which of course only has the sports side of things. So I miss a lot. I'll knock on from Ethan de Groot. Having a fun boy. He's not happy about it too, the Southland boy. It's given Moana Pasifika once again another chance to have a bit of a counter-attack. Tavanawa is the GOAT, says Yeti. Why can't we see, says Noah, due to licensing, any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube, copyright struck, possibly sued and banned for 3 months off YouTube. So, yeah, that's why we're not able to show any footage or audio. And with how quickly and effortlessly we said that, you can probably tell we've had to say it a lot throughout the channel's existence. Let's call someone, please, says Ruth. Looks like a couple more changes. Jonathan Tamatine, he will make his way off for Milani Matavao. And we will see Sama Malolo make his way on for Sana Revi. It did start. Would you if you could? Yeah, absolutely. But it's illegal to show it without consent. And to get consent to be able to show these games on YouTube, we'd have to go to a country that doesn't already have a regular broadcaster. And alongside that, we would also have to then pay upwards of a few $100,000, I would say. It's crazy. You got to pay $50 to watch a rugby game. Says Noah. Yeah, it's about $50 a month for Sky Sport, which you can get all the sport, but if you're just watching Super Rugby, it is a very expensive venture. That's going to be another reset. And Cool Breeze Just Jokes Bro says Rape. And Nadno scoring in the second half. I'm going to lose my bet, says Judah. Minus 69.5, please. That one's looking more likely at the moment. We've only got 19 minutes remaining. Not looking so good for Judah, though, is the only thing. Malani Matavao, he will be feeding this ball in. Currently, Moana Pasifika, they are down by 16. I bet Moana $1,000 win. Says Adarsh. I mentioned the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel is going to be the matchup between the Waratahs and the Fijian Roar. That one will be kicking off in only 50 minutes time. So if you are new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Ball is fed in by Malani Matavao. Penalty advantage. Going the way of Moana Pasifika. Savia takes it off the back of the scrum. Inside ball. Kieran Tumafalau, and they'll go back again. Tight head overextending. So that's going to be against Seula Mau. And now Pellegrini once again has the opportunity to kick this one towards the touchline. The Blues are going to lose again. Says Banana. About 25 metres out from the line. Another chance here at the line out. We've seen 6 handling errors apiece. Turnovers conceded, 12 for Moana Pasifika, 8 for the Highlanders, and then 9 penalties against the Highlanders in this match. Now line out throw for Sama Malolo. And they'll throw it in, nicely taken again by Tom Savage. I mentioned about how handy him as well as Alan Craig had been all throughout last season. Now nice attack and run short side. Malani Matavao loses his footing. Kieran Tumafalau. Okay, their way to said, oh no, I said, why would you bet $1,000 on the worst team? Well, I mean, they're currently second last on the table. So if you're looking at this season, if you're saying the worst team, this year at the moment, rankings-wise, it is the Blues. So underdogs happen. The Blues will certainly get a few wins throughout the season, and I do believe Moana Pasifika will too. Chris Apua, only about 7 metres out, if not closer now. Yeah, in fact, only about 2 metres from the line now for Moana Pasifika. After that, Kariati Savia, his numbers to his side. Denny Tawala was the man as first receiver. I'm not sure whether or not he's the man to be thrown at the line. There's a new advantage against the Highlanders for offside. Malani Matavao drops his head 2 metres out from the line again. Now across to the left-hand side. Chance for Sama Malolo on this near side if he wants it. No, instead they're going to pass it out wide here. Chance in the corner. Alai Marlo, great skill. High tackle from Manson. Right, it's going to be a penalty if it's not a try. Who's number 1 on the table, says Noah. At the moment, it is the Chiefs who are sitting in the number 1 spot. It looks like William Harvey's got a little bit of cramp, but that's going to be the try now for Moana Pasifika. Oh, brilliant work from Alai Marlo, and then the big swinging arm from Michael Manson. They're connecting too high with William Harvey. Oh, does he lose control of that? I think for the Highlanders' sake, you'd actually hope that he doesn't, because or else that's probably a yellow card penalty try for the high tackle on him. Looks like he's actually going to make his way from the field now, William Harvey. It's going to be Patrick Pellegrini now. Chance to line up points. Highlanders doing pretty good, aren't they, says Noah? Is that in terms of table or this game? Pellegrini, oh, he's got it straight down the middle. That's now going to make the score 22 points to 31. If Moana have another not great season, they'll have to consider a new coach. Being a legendary player like Tana doesn't make you a good coach, says the Sporting Kiwi. Although we also do need to look at the bigger picture for Moana Pasifika in terms of the players that they've currently got. They've still got a lot of young guys who, with the experience of Tana, as well as, having Savia in that environment is massive. Did you watch last week? We commentated last week, and they were able to beat the Blues, of course. But Yeah, your last one was about who was number one on the table, so we just told you the answer. But now Sam Gilbert. Gonna get ready to kick this one off. Only 9 points difference here. Moana will certainly feel... Oh, that's a big clean out of the knees of the Moana Pasifika number 8. Hey, bro, at the moment, you are the highlight of my week. I always look forward to your stream, says Wayne, and we have got quite a few more coming this weekend. How are the Chiefs already on top? Because they've played 2 games and they've won both of them. There you go. That's the table if you don't believe me. But the Mothi Tava Nawai going to be down on his knees. He's all backwards. He's been quite quiet this game, Timothy, and saying that quite quiet has still been quite a few running meters, made a few tackles, got a couple steals. And that's going to be ripped back by Savia, who went for a kick. I don't think that was the best choice. He's giving it straight back to the Highlanders once more. Oh, big driving shot from Tom Savage. And the penalty to Moana Pasifika. They feel like they've got a chance here. No way Queensland Reds are on the table. They have to be somewhere, though, because, like, they're one of the 11 teams, but they did get the win last week over Moana Pasifika. Is Moana forwards doing better than the backs? I would say yes. I think that the forwards have definitely won more in terms of those breakdowns and making the team's meters. We saw the first try for Moana Pasifika being Sione Mafaleo. Savia scored one. Yeah, I would say that the forwards are definitely keeping them well and truly in this game. There's also Tamafalau being an All Black bolter, as he hasn't played for Tonga since the 2023 World Cup. Thoughts? I'd be a bit disappointed if he didn't go back to Tonga after playing in that last World Cup competition. Short ball to Malani Matavao. Plus, with the fact that he's playing for Moana Pasifika as well, it just makes sense that he would play for Tonga. Savia, 20 metres out here. Last week, Islanders played very, very good. They did. And at times, they were down a couple of men and they still managed to get that victory over the defending champs. Now, all pick and go from Samuel Slade. Ethan de Groot, though, does he get the turnover? No, very close. And that's going to be the knock-on coming from Tawalangi. Why does Rugby 25 have so many glitches? I know it's early, but still, yeah. For a full released game, even though they're adding updates, it's definitely more glitchy than it should have been. But luckily, they're still updating it. You know, every week they're having 2 updates. One on Tuesdays, one on Thursdays. Now, trying to step around a little bit here. When's the next stream, says Wayne. Next stream will be starting in 45 minutes. And that is the match between the Fijian draw and the Waratahs. Now, kick downfield from Malani Matavao. So there's a player down at the moment. Danny Tawala having a couple knee injuries by the looks of it. Timothy Tava Nawai goes down the middle of the field to Kieran Tamafalau. And that is a big boot downfield. It's a great kick, in fact, into the Highlanders half. Where's the other 3 that run this channel, says Noah? One of them's working at the moment. The other one's living about 3 hours away. And then the other's probably at home, I would say. But one of them we've got an upcoming career mode with. And as you guys know, or some of you will know, he was in the Rugby 25 videos recently. Now it's going to be overthrown. Sama Malolo waiting for the bounce of the ball. That's a tackle in the air. So my big question is, why isn't that a penalty when we've seen it be given as them in the past few games? On the side of the break down there. Rugby is a physically demanding sport that emphasises strength, strategy and teamwork. Originating in England, has grown into a global phenomenon, fostering sportsmanship and unity. That's going to be the knock-on from Timothy Tava Nawai. I really hope Moana Pasifika has some good success this season. I'm on the Whiskies, enjoying your streams. Says Wayne. I believe Moana is allowed up to 3 All Blacks in their team, if I'm not mistaken, says the Sporting Kiwi. Yeah, I assume they'll have some sort of rule with it, but like at the end of the day, like I said, if he's played for Tonga recently, I do think that he's probably got a brighter future. Well, it's a tricky one because for the All Blacks, he's competing with a lot more names. For Tonga, you know, you're getting, I guess, you're getting opportunities on the international stage. Plus, you know, the chance of an overseas signing for him if he's playing internationally too is probably a lot higher. I totally didn't get that off ChatGPT. Yeah. I do. I love cooking it too. Says Drape. I assume that's Mexican food. But now, Malani Matavao. Oh, a little bit of an early push there. Ben O'Keefe apologises about that one. Imagine if the Highlanders lose. Win all their home games, lose all their away games this year, says Banana. And shame for Hamish has to do all the commentating, but it suits us, says Bruce. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a live stream that's only been... Oh, have we had a Sevens live stream with just George and Isaac? Maybe way back in the day. But I think we've only had like one live stream that had 3 or more of... Oh, actually, a Super Rugby final, we might have had 4 of us way back in the day. Maybe. Or a playoff game of some sort. I think we had at least 3 of us, if not 4. Is Fiji playing at home? They are not. No, they will be away from home. So that'll be a good test for the Fijian draw, as they're normally a side that do struggle to win those away contests. Just said there that the Highlanders have made twice as many tackles. See it there, 165. Tackle completion, though, 92%. Moana Pasifika, they've missed 6 points so far off the kicking tee, so that would take them up to 28 theoretically. They would already be in a position of a bonus point. So a lot of support in the stands for Moana Pasifika. I feel like the way that Moana have come back in this game, they do deserve at least 1 point from this game. But they would need to get another try here. A 4th reset in a row now for the same scrum. Need to keep the scrums up, says Ben O'Keefe. Something that they have really struggled with just in this last little moment. They are showing Tana Umangi. He's not looking too happy, although he will be much happier with the second half than he would have been with the first. I felt like the Highlanders desperately want to get a win here. They do, but it sounds harsh, but they're not playing like they do. The last kind of 25 minutes, they have been honestly very flat. They haven't actually scored a single point in the second half as of yet. Whereas Moana Pasifika, they have scored 12. So, yeah, the Highlanders, they're almost more in hanging on mode rather than excelling like they were in the first half. That's going to be a loose scrum, and it's going to pop out the back for Solomon Alaimalo. Tries the grubber, picked up well by Jonathan Tamatina, who was pushed into touch. Moana was always in possession, so Highlanders line out as the call from O'Keefe. Ruthie was 13, says Matthew. Now 6.5 minutes left here. Marlow tries the grubber and actually hit the back of the legs of the Mofe Tava Nawai. Now Jack Taylor, important throw. And if Moana can somehow steal this one, like they have the last few, waiting for it was Tom Savage. And it goes into the hands of Moana Pasifika again. Tamothi Tava Nawai. Hard to move him. And no clear release. Going to be going against them. Wow, Waratahs won their first game by 1 point and lost their second by 1, says Judah. So, yeah, very close overall. And with this points differential of 0 at the moment for the Tars. 5 metres out for the line here. Moana Pasifika, they'll go back for the penalty. Now, if they kick a 3 here, that would put them within 7. But I think their mindset will be go for the 7 points and try and win this game. Even though I sometimes have no real interest in the specific teams playing. It's actually nice to tune in. Hamish is good to listen to. Says Bruce. And if the Highlanders lose, I'll cry, says Yeetie Bird. The last 3 penalties have gone against the Highlanders, and I don't think they'll be a mile off having a yellow card against them. Sama Malolo now going off to the right-hand side. Beautiful breakthrough and the try for the big number 8, and that is now with less than 7 minutes left on the clock. The gap is less than 7 too. Tupo Tealoa is the try scorer. What a try, says Vic Mars. Yeah, just going straight through the gap. Beautifully done by Moana Pasifika. How are they even in this game at this point? They have had 17, and it will be 19 after this kick, unanswered points. We talked about Moana being a second half team, but this is outstanding from them. Oh well, says Setamis. So now 2 points difference between these two sides. Going to be a close one, says Hey. But the thing is, should it have been? Highlanders up 31 points to 10 at half time. In the next 35 minutes, we have seen 19 points from Moana Pasifika to now give them a really good shot of being able to cause an upset. I'm ordering up, says Yeti Bird, and Highlanders will win, says Ronaldo. That's the thing, they should. But they've dug themselves into a hole here, and now they have to either survive or they have to find another try just round the corner to try and fully cement the win. Now Pellegrini in the pocket, dodges one, beautifully done. By the replacement fly, Highlanders player went off, Moana pushed on. Says Kernovic, now up to the halfway line, Manson smashed by Slade. Ball looks like it could be turned over. No, it is not. And 31-10 halftime, wow, says NZ Riot. And I think that's all the tackling that the Highlanders have made. They've slowed down drastically in the second half. Who's got position at the moment? The Highlanders have got it 45 metres out from Moana Pasifika's line. 4 minutes remaining. Onto the ball. Malani Matavao has won the penalty again for Moana Pasifika. Wow, absolute thriller, says Gus. I mean, if this is setting the tone for this round, it is going to be an extremely entertaining one. This is 55 metres out. I don't think it's in Pellegrini's range. I doubted a comeback. Shame on me, says Drape. But now, Pellegrini puts this one into the touch. Moana Pasifika, for this one, they don't even need a try. They just need 3 points, and they will be in the lead in this match. Okay, can you tell them to keep possession? They already lost it in just that short time that it took to write that message. What a comeback, Moana, says Ronaldo. 12 penalties against the Highlanders. They've had a fair share of ill discipline. Sama Malolo. This is an important throw. So not much of a gap there in the front for the line out. They're going to go Samuel Slade, well claimed by Moana Pasifika, but straight through the middle in a legal fashion was TK Howard, and the ball's gone to ground. Malani Matavao goes off to Danny Tawala. Only 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Over the ball, and none other than Timothy Tavatanawai managed to win it. Moana Pasifika trying to get the counter-ruck, but they can't. And what a catch up, says Hey. And oh boy, I'm actually going for Moana, says Reflecting Trees. I would love to see it upset, says NZ Riot. But now, look at that. Timothy Tavatanawai somehow in a breakdown full of players, he still slotted through the middle and squeezed it out. Now, line out here. Sama Malolo will have the throw. Once again, one of the more important throws that they will have in the near future. Chance here for Moana Pasifika. They have managed to claim it all. What's this call from Ben O'Keefe? There's no lift, so it's... Wait, what's that call? Okay, kicked out on the full from Timothy Tavatanawai, so they'll go right back. So he was just saying there has to be a lift, and if there's a lift, then it's not straight. So I think there was a bit of a debate of whether or not there was actually a lift here from the Highlanders. There wasn't, so it doesn't have to be straight, and that was completely fine. Because under the new rules, it does say that if the line-out is not straight, as long as you're not going to the back, if the opposition don't contest, it can be not straight. But they've stolen it now, the Highlanders. Apua almost gets it, but it's Tavatanawai and the Landers with 60 seconds remaining. I think at this point they'll just use their forwards. Try and keep this one on their side. Moana Pasifika going for the counter-ruck. Oh, De Groot almost dropped that ball. I don't think it was the best pass to him. Hit him under a lot of pressure. Ascot goes across there to Seula Mau. They've just said 31-10 at half-time to come back to only 2 points difference at this point of the contest, and we are at the point where the Highlanders are just accepting that this has to be the scoreline. They aren't chasing another try. They're being told to use it. 8 seconds remaining. Scott passes across to Ethan de Groot. Oh, that was close. And there's the siren. Might have been a knock-on. And that's going to be the end of the game. The Highlanders win it by 2. But tell you what, second half completely changed this game. Moana Pasifika, they were down by 21 to close it out, only being down by the 2 points. They'll be disappointed with some of the kicking that came from this contest, but I think that they'll be more than happy with the heart that they showed throughout that second 40 minutes. Tanuumanga looking disappointed, so close yet so far for Moana Pasifika. The Highlanders, they'll be very thankful that they got the win there. That is an extra 4 points in their favour, so they will climb up the table that little bit more. Of course, we have still got another game around the corner, ladies and gents. That will be the matchup taking place between the Fijian Roar and the Waratahs. So if you guys are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've also got more of Super Rugby throughout the weekend. Blues versus Hurricanes going to be taking place in the near future as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next stream in 30 minutes' time.